welcome to another evening of frank conversation here on Hard Copy, coming to you from our studios in Abuja. I'm Maokbe Ogunyosuf. Parliamentary bills are no longer matters to simply be glossed over if one were to look at recent events in Africa's eastern country of Kenya. A finance bill which sought to raise taxes sent to the country's parliament by President Ruto has seen great unrest in that country, which has now left at least 23 people dead. Attempts to calm nerves in the country are still work in progress. But back home on Thursday, the 27th of June, the separate chambers of the National Assembly in Nigeria had gone into an emergency plenary session, which turned rowdy in the House of Representatives. The lawmakers had adjourned sitting for the Salah break and were not due to resume till the 2nd of July. However, a request of extension of the capital component of the 2023 Appropriation Act saw the lawmakers cutting short their recess to see if they could deliberate over it. What are the implications of such a request, especially when there is in existence a 2024 Appropriation Act? Why has it raised dust in the House of Representatives? Is it a request that should get citizens worried? These are some of the questions we asked tonight. Our guest is Mr. Ologbondiyan, a former spokesperson for the People's Democratic Party and a former spokesperson to Senate President David Mark, who served for 8 years. Mr. Ologbondiyan, welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you very much, Mark.
It's been quite a while. Where have you been?
It's a pleasure. I've been in Nigeria. We're in the country. We are watching the trend, and we are watching the government that made all form of promises to Nigerians and how they are implementing those promises. For now, I believe that the president and his team are still enjoying their honeymoon program.
It's 1 year. You say you're still watching.
They are enjoying their honeymoon program, and nobody is talking. Every Nigerian feels as if the situation is discomforting, but at the same time, let them watch how the situation will play out. But
is it really a matter of honeymoon, or that people are feeling disconnected with what is currently happening in government?
Well, I guess the government started with honeymooning after the crisis of removal of fuel subsidy and the floating of the naira, which has promoted the economy to a very, very horrible situation, and many people's means of livelihood have been taken away. Coming out of that, Nigerians today are just looking for means of survival. They believe that once again, they have lost a chance. And as such, everybody, some are going back to farm to go and contend with insecurity situation. Those who are trading are looking for means of moving their trade from point A to point B. But holistically, if I am to assess this administration, I can clearly say that they do not have a trust of governance yet. What I mean trust is that what is the focal point? What is this government, this administration? What are they working on? And to be honest with you, like you rightly observed, there looks like a wholesome disconnect with the people. Nobody is talking to the people. Not the president, not the media, not the handlers of the president. What we find out always is just blackmail. Oh, the president wants to buy a new aircraft. Oh, no. That's not the problem that Nigerians are thinking about. Nigerians are thinking about to survive. The next thing the handlers will say, oh, you want him to go and die like the Iranian president? Oh, you want to go and die like the Malawian vice president? No. Talk to the issues. Tell Nigerians, these are the reasons why the president needs to have a new aircraft or to add a new aircraft to the fleet. These are the expectations of Nigerians, but you are not getting that. What we are getting is just all forms of blackmail.
But what is interesting is that this request for the aircraft has come from the National Assembly. It came from the sitting of a committee. You know, I think it's the Security and Intelligence Committee of the National Assembly. Of the House of Representatives. But yes, it got some concurrence from the Senate committee as well.
Yes.
So if that is coming from the National Assembly, you know, there are huge questions as to the priorities of the people who are supposed to be representing the people. Aren't there questions?
Well, Mark, let me tell you something. The current national, I will say, and I'm saying this with every sense of responsibility, that the last National Assembly that Nigeria had was the Saraki's National Assembly. After the National Assembly of Senator Bukola Saraki, we haven't had a National Assembly.
Why do you say
the Ahmed Lawan Senate said that they will approve anything that comes from President Muhammadu Buhari. Even today, Senator Akpabio said that although they have not received the demand for the purchase of an aircraft, but if they bring it today, they will approve it. That's what he said.
Where did he say that? That's not what our own correspondent
just find out.
I'm not holding brief for him.
I understand,
but this is an era of fake news. It's very important that we clarify, because according to them, from what we saw from our own correspondent,
he said
that this is the work of blackmailers and fifth columnists within the National Assembly.
That they have not received, but they are yet to receive the demand. But if they receive the demand, they will approve it. That's what he said. That's what he said. So we have a National Assembly of anything goes. That's the honest truth.
There are big questions, though. I mean, as I started this conversation, one of the things I raised is the fact that what the unrest that Kenya is currently experiencing came from a bill, which the president sent, a finance bill, which was going to raise taxes, and the people said no, not anymore. We have already had. They've been experiencing a steady increase in taxes on food, taxes on fuel. These are essential commodities which people need, and there's been no corresponding increase in wages. And there is rising unemployment as well. That's where Kenya is. They also have a debt problem, which is what is making the president say we need to increase taxes so that we can deal with our debt problem. This is where we are in Nigeria. We also have a debt problem. A finance bill hasn't exactly been sent, but we know that there's supposed to be a harmonization of taxes, led by the Taiwo Oyedele committee. Whether taxes are going to be going up, it's unclear just yet. But this particular issue, which is before the National Assembly, I'm asking you because you also advised the former president of the Senate, who was also the chairman of the National Assembly. It is a little strange that they're seeking to extend the capital component of the 2023 budget till the end of December. It hasn't gone down well in the House of Representatives. What is the implication of this?
Before we go into the implication of the extension of the 2023 budget as well as the 2023 supplementary budget, let me just drop this and say that the situation in Kenya, which their financial bill created, if the presidency and the managers of the presidency don't take the issue of minimum wage serious, that might end up as our own version of the financial bill in Kenya. And I hope that the president, as well as the governors that are meeting today, will take serious the issue of the minimum wage bill. But having said that, looking at the issue of extension of the life of the 2023 appropriation, as well as the supplementary of the 2023 appropriation, I can like observe, I think it's absurd, I think it is strange, and I think it looks like something that's meant to be a quick fix. Because it is unknown in the parliamentary history of our country that I recall that you could have a life of a budget of the previous year extended by the first quarter or extended by the second quarter. But to give it a complete life of a fiscal year, I haven't heard of it. And that is why, like every other Nigerian out there, I am waiting to hear, to get the explanation. So what happened to the 2024 budget? So it means that the 2024 budget will be kept akimbo, and it will wait till 2025. And even there are reports that the presidency is coming up with another supplementary budget for 2024. Honestly, it is confusing.
We know that, I mean, it's the capital component, because as we speak, we know that the 2024, the recurrent expenditure arm of it is being implemented already.
But the capital component.
But the capital component now has been kept in abeyance. And instead, they're seeking to extend the life. I mean, if we're to put some figures to it, the president inherited a 21.8 trillion naira budget in 2023. Yeah. There was also
a supplementary budget.
Exactly, of 819 billion in that same 2022.
Yes.
And also, I think he tried to amend it to extend it for the whole of 2023 and also for this year as well. I mean, this is what we're still currently implementing. They said in October 2023, he sent a 2.17 trillion naira 2023 supplementary budget to the National Assembly for approval. So it does appear that we have quite a number of budgets still in existence. It's a bit odd, isn't it? What are the implications of that?
It's very, very, very odd. What I really don't understand, and I think that the budget office will need to provide explanation to Nigerians, is that why do you need to extend the life of a particular budget for a whole year?
Do you think that this is a downside to what is currently happening with this attempt to have a fresh budget by 1st of January?
Honestly, every effort in time past to ensure that, the fiscal year begins in January and ends in December has not succeeded. We haven't had the success of it. Because year in, year out, we find a situation in which the life of that budget will extend to the first quarter, to the second quarter, and we're now having a strange situation, very strange situation in our budgeting process, in which a complete fiscal year will be spent implementing the budget of the previous year. I don't understand it, and I think it's only people who are in the budget office of the country that can provide explanation to Nigerians. But the unfortunate thing is that nobody's asking questions in the country today.
And that's where I should ask you.
Nobody is asking questions.
Because you are a spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party. It has been, since it lost elections in 2015, it ought to have been a major voice. But it doesn't seem to be filling that particular role. Why is that the situation?
Well, as you know, our party is currently hemorrhaging, and we have internal challenges. That is assuming a very, very, very worrisome situation, and as such, the party might look like, maybe because of its own challenges, it's not even looking at the other side. I mean, the people in government, and it's an unfortunate situation.
Are they giving up in the space for the Labour Party?
Well, I will not say that the PDP is giving up the space for the Labour Party. But I'd rather advise that where it is possible, there should be collaboration among the opposition parties. And that's, if Nigerians truly know what they want, there should be a collaboration. Because as a people, we can't continue like this. It doesn't make sense. You have a new government that has spent over a year. You cannot define the trust of that government. Is it insecurity that they are fighting? Is it the food security that they are working on? Is it infrastructural development? What is our foreign policy? What's the direction of our foreign policy? So you have a government that you cannot define its goals, and you do not have an opposition that will constructively say that, look, you are lacking in this area, so you should do more here. I really don't understand. It's
a big question, because I mean, you were the one who broke the issue of the tenure extension, the plot of third term. that is attributed.
Where did you get that from?
Is attributed to you. Is it true? Was it attributed?
It's very correct.
That you were the one who broke the.
Yeah, very correct. Where did you get that one from?
Well, all you have to do is do your homework. So if that is the situation, you know, some people will say, at that time, in our nascent democracy, there are those who are trying to see, you know, to make sure that the letters of the Constitution were adhered to. Yes. This is us 25 years in celebrating 25 years of unbroken democracy. And there have now been big questions as to what precisely we're celebrating. You know, what precisely has this democracy been able to deliver to us? There are those who say, don't give up just yet. You know, the fact that we're even able to have the conversation is enough. But when you think about, you know, how much was sacrificed to get us where we are we really making the most of what democracy can actually offer? Or are we failing ourselves?
Well, Mark, let me say that 25 years, quarter of a century, as a democratic nation. I think we have attained quite well. But I think...
We've attained quite well.
Yes, but I can say today that instead of heightening our achievements, those democratic achievements are dwindling. That's the honest truth. We are no longer following our laws. We are now promoting strong institutions at the expense. We are promoting strong individuals at the expense of strong institutions.
But we're not even seeing. So the places where this conversation started from was the National Assembly.
Yes.
You know, where we saw at the start of this 10th Assembly, yes, one of the things that was coming to the fore was whether the opposition was going to unite and even be able to produce the leadership of the National Assembly, because they were significant in number, and if you added all of them together, they were far more than members of the APC within the National Assembly, especially in the House of Reps. That did not come up, but people still thought that, you know, perhaps with their numbers, their voices should also be quite loud. We haven't seen that as well, or is it something we're missing?
There's nothing that you are missing. It's just about the reality of the time. Let me tell you what happens in the democracy, which is part of what you had raised about the life of our democracy. People get elected on the platforms of respective political parties. As soon as they assume offices, they shove aside the party on which platform they were elected. They have no responsibilities to those parties. They have no responsibilities to the ideologies of those parties. They do things their own way. And as such, the parties are getting weakened. They have become just a platform to get elected into office. Once you get elected into that office, you don't have any business with the party. And ordinarily, like we are talking about in the parliament, is the party that should provide a guide for parliamentarians, and to ensure that in their day-by-day activities, they do not neglect the focus of the party. They do not neglect the ideology of the party. But what do we have today? As soon as people get elected into the parliament, they have no businesses with their respective parties that they come from. So, and that way, if you do not grow the party, you cannot grow democracy. And
yet we have something to celebrate 25 years down the line.
Well,
do you still think so? I mean, I've been trying to find the evidence from everything you have said to support your assertion, but it's not adding up, is it?
No, I understand, Makwe. It might not add up to reasoning, because in one part, the main thing is that I want to speak to the situation as it is, not hiding anything. But at the same time, I can't pull down the democratic institution. I cannot. I believe in democracy. I strongly believe in it, and I have spent my life working, at least my adult life, working to entrench democratic tenets.
There are those who think that the problem is at the very roots, at the very foundation of our structure. I mean, we've been hearing calls for restructuring the National Assembly. I mean, these calls, they're as old as I am, perhaps even older. But in the lifetime of this democracy, we've heard it so many times. President Obasanjo convened one, it didn't quite work. President Jonathan convened another in 2014. That's the one that people are now beginning to say, look, we need to implement this, otherwise our country might no longer exist. As one who has been a part of the presidential system, you have served Senate President, you have documented things even as a journalist. What are your thoughts with regards to our current situation, the current structure which we operate?
You see, the current constitution that we operate, the 1999 constitution, as amended, is one that has provided for how it can be amended. And until and unless we focus our restructuring on how to use the amendment of the 1999 to achieve it, I don't see us going anywhere. I think we are just playing games. And this is honest truth. Because the constitution, whether it was brought by the military, whether we need to democratize and make sure that there's people that will say, we the people of Nigeria. The constitution says that you will have a presidential system of government. It's clear. It's a law. It says that you will have a bicameral legislature. The Senate and the House of Rep. It is clear. It's in the constitution. It says that you will have 36 states and FCT. It is clear. It's in the Constitution. So if we want to do regional government, how are we going to do it? Do we revert back to the state of anarchy and now begin to implement the process? Are we going to totally set aside the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended? So how are we going to achieve it? Because when you are talking about going to regionalism, or you are talking about doing parliamentary system of government, how do we achieve it? Some are even talking about unicameral legislature. So is it the Senate you are going to retain, or is it the House of Reps you are going to retain? Whichever you want to retain, you still need them to do the amendment. So will they amend the process that will tell them to go and sit down?
Yeah, but what do you believe should happen?
I have said it clearly.
In what structure? I mean, yes, there are many forms of democracy. What you have expressed is a belief in democracy.
Yeah.
But there are many ways to, implement true democracy. What do you think should be the ideal? I
have said it clearly that we should begin an amendment process.
Mm-hmm. We have done amendments before now.
No, we have done many amendments, but we have not. These amendments that we have done did not address the structure which you were talking about. Mm-hmm. It didn't address the structure. So if we want to address the structure of governance that we want to practice, it is still through the same amendment, because you ain't going to set aside the Constitution. If you set aside the Constitution, you revert to the state of anarchy.
There are many questions twirling in my head. I'm still looking at the situation in Kenya. I'm sure a lot of people are also watching what is happening in Kenya. The fact that the president there has withdrawn many parts of the bill, which caused trouble, but still, there is still, it's not yet all calm.
Yeah.
And people will say, look, we do not want that sort of situation, but we know that where we currently are in terms of the economy and security and all the other things around it, if we do not take care, that is not exactly too far from. It's not something we have to imagine for long. So I am wondering, for those who are a little concerned about connecting the people back with our democracy, with the workings of the National Assembly, how do we begin to get them even interested? What is happening are you seeing light at the end of the tunnel, especially with the bill, not the bill now, the suit which the Attorney General has filed against state governors, seeking to see how they can, put more autonomy in the hands of local governments. Do you think that will be a way to go, for instance?
Everybody believes that, the situation we have in the country today, that the government and the local councils should have more funding. They should have more independence.
You believe in that as well?
I quite believe in it. I believe in it. That they should have their independence and that they should have more money. But in achieving that, we have to go back to the Constitution. Because we practice a constitutional democracy.
There are those who say it's already there. It just needs to be implemented.
No.
That's why the Attorney General is taking an interpretation from the Supreme Court.
It depends on what we are saying. It depends on what we are discussing here. For instance, what is called the JAC Committee, JAC Committee, Joint Account Committee, is in the Constitution, which says that, the state will bring a percentage of its internally generated revenue with whatever is coming from the federal government, and this will be put together and distributed to the respective subheads.
One last word to your political party. Looking at where you currently are, looking at what is happening and the general discontent, prevailing within the PDP, what would you say to them? The members of your party and also the leadership of your party?
Maupe, I have not hidden my position in one day. The starting point is that let us sit down in NEC and agree, which we have agreed, except that they are shifting now. Let the North Central complete its tenure. That's our starting point. But for as long as people run to court to go and seek cover for illegality, is a waste of time.
You think that the current minister of the FCT should also be allowed into the party? Do you think he should be an integral part of the PDP?
Nobody has stopped the former governor and now minister, Nyesom Wike. Nobody has stopped him from participating in the party process. He was at the neck, he was at the caucus. But my own position is that you should fight to unite. That's my own position. If you want to do A, do A. If you want to do B, do B. But what we are witnessing, the situation that we are witnessing, is not helping the party. And that's the fact. It's not helping the party at all.
Well, Mr. Ologbondiyan, I have to thank you for coming on Hard Copy tonight.
Thank you very much, Maokpe. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, that's the program tonight. But what are your thoughts on the situation with the bills? Do you have clarity on what is happening with the appropriation bills, which the president is seeking an extension for? Do you have questions? You may send them to the handles showing on the screen in front of you. Thank you for watching. I'm Maokpe Ogunyosef. Good night.